Probably should have did that on camera. Hi guys, this is Connie. We are back for the end. I think it's the end. We'll find out real quick. Chapter 16 of Connie reads Ghost of Spirit Bear. Cole held his breath. The chairman rapped the gavel hard and pulled the microphone closer to his mouth. The chanting of Go Spirit Bears faded away reluctantly, leaving a charged and brittle silence. A 2/3 majority vote is needed for the passage of this proposal, the chairman announced. Tonight's vote is 7 in favor and 2 opposed. Cole had never liked math much, but for a split second he scrambled to think if 7 of 9 votes was a 2/3 majority. The thunderous applause erased any doubt. Details of this change will be worked out in the coming months, the chairman added, speaking loudly to be heard above the applause and whistling. Then he held up Ms. Kennedy's resignation and said, "I'm glad to be able to do this." He ripped it in half. "Also, let me be the first to officially say, Go Spirit Bears." The auditorium erupted again with Go Spirit Bears! Go Spirit Bears! Go Spirit Bears! Cole couldn't believe this was all happening. Was it real? He remembered feeling this same way when he recovered consciousness in the boat after the mauling. He had waited to wake up from a dream, but being rescued on the island had been no dream, nor was tonight. Students and adults mobbed Cole, thanking him, congratulating him, shaking his hand and slapping him on the back. Peter ran up, jumping and shouting and yelling, "We did it! We did it!" Cole gave him a big hug, lifting him off his feet and swinging him in a full circle. "Yes, we did it," he shouted back. Cameras flashed, and everywhere people kept clapping. When Cole quit swinging Peter, he noticed Keith beside him. Keith extended his hand to Peter. "I'm really sorry," he shouted. "I've told Miss Kennedy who hurt you." "You ratted?" Peter asked, showing his surprise. Keith shook his head. "You can't rat on rats," he said. "It's what I should have done from the start." He kept his hand extended. Still, Peter hesitated. It was hard to hear above the bedlam of noise. Maybe change starts by forgiving. "Maybe change starts by forgiving," Cole shouted to Peter. Slowly, Peter reached and shook Keith's hands. "Go, Spirit Bears!" Cole shouted, cuffing them both on the shoulders. Miss Kennedy came up and gave Cole a big hug. "You and Peter created a new reality for everyone tonight," she said. "With your help," Cole added. "I can't believe you offered your resignation." She smiled. "We all had to put everything on the line. Just know I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of our school." "Cole Matthews!" shouted a local television reporter, his camera rolling. "What do you think of what happened here tonight?" "We did it," was all Cole could respond. "We did it." One by one, board members stopped to offer congratulations before leaving. As students kept shaking his hand, Cole's gaze swept over the thinning crowd filing from the gym. One single feature caught his attention. Stopped against the moving crowd, looking back at him, stood his own father. For a split second, their eyes met. "Excuse me," Cole interrupted. "Excuse me, I'll be right back." But even as Cole started across the gym floor, his father turned and disappeared into the departing crowd. Cole searched frantically, running outside, but couldn't find him. Slowly, he returned to the gym. "Where did you go?" his mother asked. "Nowhere," Cole said. "Just tried to catch an old friend." Peter stood beside his smiling parents, still shouting, "We did it! We did it!" Garvey walked up to Cole. "I never knew you were such an eloquent speaker," he joked. "You beat them with your heart, your head, and your mouth." "Thanks for all your help," Cole said. Garvey cupped his hands and shouted into Cole's ear. "Your father was here tonight and asked me if I thought a circle could help an adult." "What did you say?" "I told him yes, if he wanted the change." "Is that all he said?" "Hey, it's a start." Cole's mother stepped in and hugged Cole. "I'm so very proud of you," she said. "Do you need a ride home?" Cole looked over at Peter. "I know it's late, but I'd love it if we could go out for ice cream to celebrate." Cole's mother nodded, turning to Mr. and Mrs. Driscoll. Do you mind if Peter joins us? Peter's father approached Cole and extended his hand for a firm handshake. I never thought I would see the day when I said this to the boy who hurt my son, but tonight I am very proud of you both. Can we join you? The ice cream is on me. Cole nodded. Can you come too? He asked Garvey. It would be an honor, Garvey replied. Don't lose it now. The book's not over. Cole smiled in disbelief as he looked up at the snarling bulldog mascot on the gym wall. It no longer seemed so fierce. Oh, there's still three to 6 pages left. The next day, Ms. Kennedy agreed that they needed to take down the bulldog statue and change the gym wall mascot immediately. I'll have the art department start right on it, she promised. It may take a little longer to replace the bulldog statue with a spirit bear. That's something we want to make sure is done right. Cole and Peter agreed. At noon, students gathered to help paint over the old bulldog. Everyone cheered when the stroke of a paintbrush covered the last of the fierce mascot. Go Spirit Bears, the students chanted. Cole stood watching. Emotion blurred his vision, and he kept swallowing. When he had carried the ancestor rock on the island, it represented all the generations of ancestors that had lived before him. If he squandered his life, he wasted their legacy. Now Cole realized that the legacy being created at this moment, here in this gym, was part of what he would pass on to a new generation. By Friday, the art teacher and her students had outlined a spirit bear on the gym wall. Fourth period, Cole sat at his desk in history class, bored. Glancing out the window, he noticed snowflakes swirling around. All fall, the weather had been mild with unseasonably warm temperatures, but now a bitter wind kicked up out of the north and drove snow sideways past the window panes. When school let out that afternoon, Cole met Peter by the lockers. Did you see the snow? Peter asked. Yeah, winter's here. Hey, have you seen the old homeless guy around? Peter asked. Cole shook his head. Not since we saw him pushing that old pine stump in his cart. Why? I'm going to take him the towel after school, Peter said. He needs it to stay warm. Cole didn't argue. Giving Peter the colorful blanket on the island had been part of his own healing. It showed he was capable of trust. Now, giving it away was also important to Peter. You don't mind, do you? Peter asked. Would it make any difference if I did? No. Then why did you ask me? 'Cause I wanted you to help me give it to him, Peter admitted. I thought you trusted the old guy. That's why you give somebody the towel. I do, but I thought you might want to come along because we're friends. Cole smiled and nodded. For sure. Filled with anticipation, they headed for Peter's house to pick up the blanket. Neither had worn gloves to school, and their fingers and cheeks were numb by the bitter, gusting wind. They zipped their jackets up and ducked their heads to protect their ears. At Peter's house, Cole waited outside the entry as Peter ran up to his room for the towel and also a flashlight. When Peter returned, the sight of the brightly colored blanket flooded Cole's mind with memories and emotions. He unfolded the towel carefully and wrapped it around his shoulders. Eyes closed, he buried his face in the soft wool and pretended that he was letting all his own ancestors wrap their lives around his for a moment. He felt their presence and their protection. Hello, planet Earth to Cole, Peter said. Cole opened his eyes and refolded the blanket. Okay, let's do it. Without talking, Peter and Cole walked to the old building. Do you think he's in there? Peter asked, his breath showing in the cold air. In weather like this, where else could he be? Excuse me. Cautiously, both boys slipped between the broken front doors. The grocery cart was gone. Peter snapped on his flashlight at the top of the stairwell. Hey, mister, he called. We brought you something. Cole called out. Hello? Anybody down there? Their voices echoed in the damp and dark stairwell. Let's just go down and leave it for him, Cole said. But then I can't explain to him how special and important the Atau is. Peter argued. You want to come back? I don't know, Peter said, staring tentatively down the dark steps. He probed the light into the darkness. Cole followed. Let me see the flashlight, he said. When they reached the bottom, he shined into the corner where the old bum lived, but nothing made sense. Everything was gone. There was no mattress, no cardboard box for a table, nothing. Only wood shavings. The whole floor was covered with fresh wood shavings. Cole shined the light around the empty room. There was simply nothing. The homeless man had vanished with no sign he had ever been there. Cobwebs hung from the walls and ceiling, and dust covered the floor where the mattress had been. Where did he go? Peter asked. Maybe he was never here, Cole said. What do you mean he was never here? We saw him. Let me see the light again. Peter grabbed the flashlight. Almost frantically, he flashed the beam around the room, searching for any sign of the old man. That was when they spotted it. The boys gasped as Peter steadied the beam of light on the big object sitting in the far corner. It's a bear, Cole whispered. A spirit bear, Peter answered. Surrounded by the wood shavings stood a magnificent white bear. It looked as if it had been carved from pine, and every detail down to the claws and eyes looked alive. Over 4 feet tall, the bear had a paw raised and head tilted to one side. It stared forward as if gazing into the future. When the light shined on its face, Cole saw gentleness, kindness, and strength. Cole and Peter stood speechless for a moment. Why did he carve that? Peter finally asked. To replace the bulldog statue, Cole ventured. But how did he know we needed it? Cole shrugged. There's a lot of stuff we don't understand. Why does anything happen? Why did the spirit bear in Alaska keep following us? Peter held up the Atau. And what do I do with this now? If this bear is displayed inside the school, maybe you can spread the Atau underneath for every student to see. To remind us of our ancestors? Peter asked. Cole nodded and whispered reverently. And to remind us that we are each important and part of the circle. That sentence didn't make sense to him. Cole nodded and whispered reverently. And to remind us that we are each important and a part of the circle. Without speaking, they lifted the old man's gift. Balancing its weight between them, Peter and Cole carried the spirit bear up the dark stairs, through the doors, and out into the world. That's the end of the book! I do want to say, I just noticed this on the back page cover, on the back of the dust cover, about the author. It says Ben Mikkelsen. If I butcher it, I apologize. I'm not intentionally trying to butcher your name. Ben Mikkelsen is the winner of the International Reading Association Award and the Western Writers of America Spur Award. His novels have been nominated for and won many state Readers' Choice Awards. These novels include Red Midnight, Rescue Josh McGuire, Sparrowhawk Red, Stranded, Countdown, Petey, and Tree Girl. Ben's articles and photos appear in numerous magazines around the world. This is what got me. Well, actually, I'll skip the last sentence for a second. It's the only time I'm going to edit anything. You can visit Ben. Okay, so it gives his, let's see, for exclusive information on your favorite authors and artists, visit authortracker.com. But it also says Ben lives near Bozeman, Montana with his 700-pound black bear Buffy. You can visit Ben and Buffy online at benmickelson.com. Dude, do you see this? Do you see this? We're going to put the website there. I hope it's coming through. Whoa. So, yes, that is the conclusion and completion of Connie Reed's Ghost of Spirit Bear. Thank you guys so much, especially to the teacher whose name I'm forgetting in the class that is listening to this. Thank you for the request and the suggestion. I hope you guys enjoyed this book as much as I did and look forward to reading more books in the future. So be careful with that and enjoy, please and thank you. And I will see you next time. If you want to shameless plug for my YouTube, it's got plenty of playlists. If you found this book and you found other books, you can look at the main, you can click on my icon for the main channel, look up playlist. There are lots of books that are completed as well as this one now. Have a great one. Thank you guys so much. Have a great one. I'll see you for the next reading some other time later.